if you've been around here for a while, you probably remember last year's video where I basically cried about St. Jude for 7 minutes and didn't mention St. Simon. So today we are making up for that. Drumroll, please. We are talking finally about Saint Simon the Zealot. He's just one of those guys that's an apostle and we don't know much about them. What we do know is that he was a member of the Zealots, a radical Jewish sect that was a little extreme and had a tendency of inciting riots and violence in the name of a free and independent Jewish nation. But more importantly, we know that he met a man, Jesus, and his life was changed. He was called by Jesus to be an apostle, to follow him, to spread the gospel. And this call, this experience of being seen, this experience of being in relationship with the Lord, redeemed his zeal, which is a virtue. You see, in the words of my good friend, Christopher West. Christopher, if you're watching this at Theology of the Body Institute, big fan. The devil does not have his own clay. The evil one will take the goodness in us, what God has created and called good, our desires, our zeal, our dreams, our feelings, and distort them so they become disordered and further us from the will of God. But the devil is not powerful enough to create. He doesn't have the ability to give life. So he can only take what God has already redeemed. He can only take what God has already called good. And we see that in the life of Saint Simon. Early on in his life, he burned with zeal for what he believed was the truth. And when he met Jesus, he discovered what the truth was. The Lord shifted and changed his heart to burn for him, to burn for his church. The Lord didn't ask him to change everything about who he was, but just who he served. He saw the goodness in him, and he sees the goodness in you. And he invited him to become who he really was, to come back to himself. And he became an evangelist. His zeal set the stage for the faith that we profess today. And I mean, I think it's pretty fitting that he was paired up with St. Jude, the patron of now hopeless causes. Because you might consider someone who's so riled up, who's so what seems to be set in their ways, to be transformed, to be made new. But as Christians, we know that nothing is impossible with God, and we see that time and time again through the lives of the saints. And so today, to celebrate Saint Simon, and maybe even a little bit of St. Jude, let's think about the areas in our lives that could be disordered, that could be distorted, whether it's the way we see ourselves, the way we see other people, the ways we spend our time. I want you to dare to believe that there is goodness there, that the root of our actions, that the root of our thoughts, the root of our hearts desires goodness. And we can find that when we allow Jesus into our hearts to redeem us, to restore us, to bring us back to life, to bring us back to him. And so whether that is returning to the sacrament of reconciliation or entrusting this wound, this area of your life to a friend to walk with you, to support you, let's take a step today to get back on track, to give the Lord some room to work and redeem our hearts, because he always will. Even if it's something that you just want to be freed from, the Lord not only wants to set you free, but he wants to use it for good. And so let's give him the space to do that, because he will always outdo our expectations. We were made to burn with zeal for him, and that will change our lives. Saint Simon and Saint Jude, pray for us. See you next time. Bye.